fluid. Imagine nyo, isang marble, dinrop nyo sa isang baso ng tubig. Siyempre, tataas yung tubig by an amount of volume that the marble is actually occupying. So in this case, the buoyant force is equal to the weight of that displaced fluid. So this is also known as the law of hydrostatics, applied to both floating and submerged bodies and to all fluids. So, unahin muna natin yung figures na ito. Kita nyo naman, pinapakita dito yung steps on how the displaced fluid is calculated. So, ito, if alala nyo, this is case 1 para sa ating mga curved surfaces. Ito case 2 ito. Mapapansin nyo na yung case 2, it's actually equal to this area. Kung anong fluid ang nandito sa area na ito. 'Di ba? Kung ano yung nandito sa fluid na ito, which is this one. And for us to get just this area na ito, we would need this shape then, this volume. When we subtract this from this, we get the displaced volume. Kita naman, volume 2 minus volume 1 is equal to the displaced volume. And kung ano yung force, and actually, kung ano yung force dito, kung ano yung force sa 2, and kung ano yung force sa 1, which is actually the force being exerted by the amount of fluid here, and the force being exerted by the amount of fluid here, makikita natin na yung difference nila is actually the buoyant force. Kasi, again, the principle is that any body immersed in a fluid is acted upon by an upward force called the buoyant force, which is equal to the weight of the displaced fluid. Again, this being the displaced fluid, this shape here. Now, we can actually express BF as the specific weight of the body multiplied by the volume of the displaced fluid. This being the specific weight of the fluid, the surrounding fluid, multiplied by the displaced volume. And actually, we can also calculate the displaced volume in a case where the body and the fluid are homogeneous. Homogeneous being that the composition of the body and the fluid itself are uniform. So dito, it is the ratio of the specific gravity of the body divided by the ratio of the specific gravity of the body to the specific gravity of the liquid multiplied by the total volume. The total volume being volume number 2. This is actually the total volume. Itong entire thing na ito. This entire shape. Actually, hindi. Tawag dito. Hindi pala. The total volume of the... Well, sa case na ito. Ito nga yan. The total volume. Pero mas makikita natin yung yung ating tawag dito. Yung ating use of the formula later on. But basically, dahil siya may ratio, kasi normally, ito yung, dito yung specific gravity ng body, di ba? And this is the specific gravity of the liquid itself. Kasi dito, this is a fluid na, di ba? Yung surrounding fluid to. Itong composition nito is the same as here. So when you get the ratio of them, and then you multiply it by the total body, you are able to get the displaced volume. Is that understood, everyone? Isa lang ba? Concept pa lang to? Okay. So, continuing on, the same concept is applied For if a body of height h, this being h, has a constant horizontal cross-sectional area, such as vertical cylinders and blocks, what does that actually mean? Horizontal cross-sectional area. Kailangan daw ay constant. So, ibig sabihin, this cross-section at the top is the same as the cross-section all throughout the height. So, all throughout the height, dapat pare-parehas yung area niya, cross-sectional area, such as sa mga vertical cylinders. Kunwari ito. Ito bang area nito ay the same here? Is it the same here? Is it the same all throughout different points of height h? If ganito yung case niya, we can actually find the draft or the level of which the body is submerged, the submerged height, if you will. So that is equal to the ratio again of the body, of the specific gravity of the body by the specific gravity of the liquid, or the specific weight of the body over the specific weight of the liquid. It's the same multiplied by the height of the body itself. So yon, ratio ulit siya. And if the body is of uniform vertical cross section A, the submerged area is, so dito naman, again, take note, uniform vertical cross-sectional area. So yung cross-sectional area na ito, or ito, and ito, vertically, yung mga vertical cross-section nila, if it's equal, equal lahat itong mga areas na ito, then we can say that the body has a uniform vertical cross-sectional area. In this case, we can actually find the area, the submerged area, so ng cross-sectional area. So itong circle na ito, kung wari ito yung submerged. Ito yung area ng submerged. Ito yung area ng exposed. And the total area is A. Yan. We can find the area of this submerged area by having the ratio of the body over the liquid multiplied by the total cross-sectional area. So yan, it will prove useful yung pagkuha ng mga areas na ito o yung pagkuha ng mga height na iyon sa problem solving later on. Is that understood, everyone? Okay. Kasi again, this topic or this problem solving topic is very much reliant on geometry, reliant on special understanding on or critical understanding on spatial analysis. So let's move on to our problem solving naman. An iceberg having a specific gravity of 0.92 is floating on salt water of specific gravity 1.03. If the volume of ice above water surface is 1,000 cubic meter, what's the total volume of the ice? Okay, so let's analyze the problem. Meron daw tayong iceberg. That iceberg has a specific gravity of 0.92. So 0.92 ang specific gravity nito, as stated pala dito. And then, it is submerged now on salt water with a specific gravity of 1.03. If the volume of ice above the water surface is 1,000 cubic meters, so anong volume yon? It's the volume of anything of the entire surf of the entire chunk above the water. So itong part na ito. Kung ano mang hindi siya, wala siyang protrusion na uniform eh. Hindi naman siya isang cylindrical na type na parang may area and then protruding. This is just an arbitrary shape as icebergs are. So may entire volume daw dito. And given yung volume natin dito, which is 1,000 cubic meters daw, Now we're trying to find the entire volume of the ice naman. Okay. So the specific gravity of ice, 0.92, specific gravity of salt water, 1.03, and the exposed volume, which is 1,000 cubic meters. So we're trying to find the total volume naman. So the general formula we have is, ano nga ba ang total volume of ice? Formula natin for that. That is VD plus VE, which is the volume of the displaced and the volume of the exposed, 'di ba? Given na yung exposed natin. And the weight or the force itself, the vertical force, or the force of being exerted by these bodies, the force is equal to the specific weight times the volume. Bakit specific weight and volume? Because ano ulit ang unit natin ng specific weight? It is the Newton or a force value over a volume value multiplied by which what is V? V is a volume value. So kapag kinancel to, we're going to get a force value, which is the weight. Okay? So, with those established formulas, we get here, let V be the total volume of ice, as stated here, V be the volume displaced, and uh, yon. So, we express the displaced volume by by the value of the volume here. In terms of the total volume. Kasi we're expressing it in terms of the total volume because by the end, we're going to be solving for V through two equations where it is expressing the total volume, where specific values are expressed in terms of the total value. So parang systems ulit siya. Systems of systems of one variable. Ano ba? Hindi ko alala kung anong tawag doon. But basically, we're going to be solving for V. Uh, First, alam natin that we have the volume of the entire chunk of the exposed here. So we can actually find the weight of it. Well, hindi pa. Hindi. Kailangan pala natin munang establish that the weight of the ice is equal to the buoyant force. Why is that so? Imagine nyo muna, let's go back to simple classical Newtonian physics. Imagine nyo, I am pushing with a force of 120 meters, 120 newtons. How much force would it take for me to reach equilibrium or a displacement of zero? Meaning parang, 'di ba, when I'm pushing at a certain force. Gaano karaming force ang kailangan? Siyempre kapag nagpo-push ako, I'm moving, 'di ba? I'm moving. Kapag walang tumitigil sa akin, tuloy-tuloy akong nagmo-move. Tuloy-tuloy akong bumababa. How much force would it take for me to be stopped para hindi siya tumigil but I'm still exerting 120 newtons of force? Siyempre, you're going to need 120 newtons of force as well. So the same principle is applied here. The weight of the ice, syempre the weight of the ice, there is a gravitational force pulling down the ice. How much force does it take to get up? That is the buoyant force. The buoyant force is making the entire body float. So hindi na siya nababa. It's staying here in an equilibrium. Okay? Kaya we need to establish that the weight of the ice is equal to to the buoyant force. Because of this, we need to find the equation for this and the equation for this in terms of V para ma-solve natin yung total volume which is kung ano yung hinahanap natin sa problem. Now, ano nga ba yung formula para sa weight ng ice? We have a couple of formulas. We have mass times gravity. But however, kailangan nga natin is, again, express it in V. What formula of weight is includes V? So it's actually the specific weight multiplied by V. Kasi again, um, the specific weight multiplied by the volume leaves us with a force value. So, ayun. Dahil dyan, we have this. The specific weight of ice multiplied by the total volume. Paano natin mahanap yung specific weight of ice? Again, going back all the way to our property of fluids lesson, the specific weight of ice is can be attained by multiplying the specific weight of water by its specific gravity. Kasi again, the specific gravity is the ratio of the specific weight of the fluid or the body over the specific weight of the of water. The same is applied for the density of the fluid over the density of water. Siyempre, kung gusto natin kunin ito, we're going to multiply the specific weight of water by the specific gravity. So yeah, just a recap of what we have learned before. Because of that, we have 9.81, which is the specific weight of water, multiplied by 0.92, which is the specific gravity of the iceberg. So multiply that together, we get that the specific weight of or the weight of ice is equal to 9.0252 multiplied by the volume. So that's one equation that we're going to be using later. Now we're trying to find the buoyant force naman, or the force that makes the iceberg stay afloat. So we multiply the again, what is the buoyant force? The buoyant force is equal to the specific weight of the fluid, the surrounding fluid, or where your body is submerged, multiplied by the displaced volume. So again, how did we express the displaced volume? The displaced volume is expressed through here, 'di ba? Kasi the total volume minus 1,000, which is the exposed volume, we get the displaced volume. So we have the specific weight of seawater again by multiplying the specific weight of water, which is 9.81. 9.81 multiplied by the specific gravity of salt water, which is dapat ito ay 1.03. Typo siya sa book. 1.03 ito dapat. 1.03. And then you multiply that by the displaced volume. What is the displaced volume in terms of the total volume again? It is volume minus 1,000. Because of that, we're able to get the general formula of the buoyant force in terms of V. Now, since we have our first equation and our second equation and them being equal, we can now equate them. And when we equate them, we have a single variable that is missing, which is equal to V. Now you multiply this to this, then this to this, uh, subtract this to this, transpose this, you eventually get this formula. Dapat ito ay may V actually. You divide both sides by 1.0791, and then you get the total volume, which is 9,364 cubic meters. So that is how you attain the total volume of the iceberg in terms of this problem. Is that understood, everyone? May questions ba tayo? Okay, no questions so far. Let's move on to another buoyant force problem. Or actually, may alternate solution tayo dito. 'Di ba na-mention natin before that the displaced volume can actually be calculated by having the ratio of the body and the liquid multiplied by the total volume. Using that idea, the ratio, again, of the specific weight of the body over the specific weight of the liquid or the specific gravity na diretso, okay lang din yon. We multiply it by the total volume of the body. Now, since ito nga yung hinahanap natin, this retains, How do we express the total displaced volume? 'Di ba, the displaced volume is equal to the total volume minus 1,000, which is this. Now, because of that, we have an equilibrium again in terms of volume, or the total volume. To solve for this, shift solve or transposing, you get the same value of 9,364 cubic meters. Is that understood? Utilizing that concept. Okay, thank you so much. Now let's move on to another buoyant force problem ulit. So ito naman, another problem number 6 dapat ito. A block of wood, 0.60 meters by 0.60 meters by h height, ito may specific h na height daw siya, in dimension, was thrown into water and floats with a 0.18 projecting above the water surface. So kapag tinapon daw yung block of wood na ito into water, you have a height of 0.18 doon sa floating. Yung sa exposed na height. So may specific to. The same block naman ulit, this specific block is thrown into another container of liquid with a specific gravity of 0.9 and it floats with 0.14. May projecting height siya of 0.14 on the exposed surface. Determine the following. What is the value of h? Ano yung total height ng block? What's the specific gravity of the block? And what is the weight of the block? Now, in water daw, we're going to be utilizing the principle we're going to be utilizing here is this formula. Why? Bakit? Kasi, again, this is a uniform horizontal cross section. 'Di ba yung cross section na ito, this area is the same as this area, Kasi vertically siya, 'di ba? It has a uniform cross section. So dahil dyan, we can use the formula that I pointed out kanina. The draft or the height of the exposed fluid is equal to the ratio of the specific gravity of the body, that body being composed of wood, over the specific gravity of water. So, dahil dyan, multiplied pala by the total height. Dahil dyan, we can retain this kasi hinahanap natin yung height, di ba? Value of h. How do we express another formula for draft? Simple. Kasi draft is just the submerged height of the body, di ba? And that we have the total height then. And we have the exposed. So, the draft is actually equal to the total height minus kung ano yung exposed. Kasi kapag minus mo lang yung kung ano yung exposed, makukuha lang natin yung height of what is submerged. So that is actually h minus 0.18. So we can equate that by this formula. And considering that the specific gravity of water is equal to 1 lang, we can basically omit this or simplify this to the specific gravity of wood multiplied by the total height is equal to h minus 0.18. So that is our first equation. Now, for another equation naman, we have another liquid. We have the same body exposed or submerged into another liquid. So again, the same principle applied, though iba naman yung kanyang specific gravity. The specific gravity or the draft is equal to the ratio of the wood, of the specific gravity of the wood or specific weight of the wood over the liquid, which is, in this case, it is a liquid with 0.9 specific gravity multiplied by the total height. Again, we're going to substitute specific gravity of the wood over 0.9 multiplied by h, and then yung draft natin or the submerged height, we can get it by the total height minus 0.14. With that, we are able to attain the formula of the specific gravity of wood multiplied by the height is equal to 0.9 multiplied by the height minus 0.126. Now, we have two equations na, equation 1 and equation 2. Mapapansin nyo that both of them are equal to specific gravity of wood multiplied by the height. Dahil dyan, we can equate both of them, di ba? So ito, equate mo both of them. When we equate both of them, we're able to solve for h through, syempre, grouping together the variables, grouping together the constants. We get that the height is actually 0.54 meters. So meaning, ito daw ay 0.54 meters yung value ng h. Nakakahabol ba so far? Okay, thank you. Now we were able to get the value of A. We're going to be finding the specific gravity naman. How do we do that? Well, we established previous equations, diba? And that equation has specific gravity. We're just going to use this, substitute H. So substitute H here. Specific gravity of wood multiplied by 0.54, which is the total height of the block, is equal to 0.54 minus 0.18, which again, this is basically just the equation kanina na parang kinuha lang natin yung submerged. Pero yung height dito yung nahanap natin, the submerged height. Ayan. So the specific gravity is actually equal to 0.667, the specific gravity of wood. And then, for the weight of the block naman, since we have the specific gravity of the wood na, we can use our trusty equation for weight, which is the specific weight multiplied by the volume of the block. Ayan. So how do we get the specific weight? The specific weight is equal to the specific weight of water multiplied by the specific gravity of the wood. Hindi ko na siya ulit i-explain kung bakit siya naging ganon kasi nakakatatlong explain na ako. But we get the specific weight of that wood and then we'll multiply it by the volume. Paano natin mahanap yung volume? Again, yung sinasabi ko before na parang volume formula, which is just the area, uh, uh, weight times length times height para makuha yung volume. For a prism ito. 'Di ba last time sinabi ko, merong area and then parang pinrotrude lang natin siya. Minultiply lang siya by h. The same is applied here. Considering that we have uniform cross sections, 'di ba? Ayun. So, because of that, we have 0.6 times 0.6, which is stated dito before, multiplied by 0.54, which is the total height, 'di ba? So, pinag-multiply natin ito by this to this, 'di ba? Ayan. And solving for that equation, we get the weight of the block is equal to 1.272 kilonewtons. Okay? Is that understood, everyone? Okay. So if no questions, that is actually it for our buoyant force discussion. We're now actually going to be moving on to our next topic, which is introduction to fluid flow. Saan yan? Introduction to fluid flow. Sandali. And the energy and mechanical efficiency. Actually, before we dive into this, let's take a health break para ma-digest nyo yung inyong naaral and for you to, para hindi makram yung inyong iniisip. Let's rest for a little bit and continue at 5:15. Okay, see you later in 25 minutes. Okay. Discussion. We are now in the introduction of to fluid flow, energy, and mechanical efficiency. So, as we previously discussed sa ating dating lessons, it's more on hydrostatics, diba? Or the study of fluids at rest. Now we are charting into territories where we're studying fluids in motion. So, ignore na lang muna natin yung lesson objectives. Uh, our first concept is discharge or flow rate Q. Now we have different types of discharge here discussed, but discharge is defined as the discharge of flow rate is the amount of fluid passing through a section per unit time, and the amount of fluid could either be the volume, the mass, or the weight. So this is expressed as mass flow rate, which is kilogram per second, weight flow rate, which is kilonewton per second, and volume flow rate or flow rate, which is meter cube per second or liters per second. Now, intindihin natin yung formulas na ito. Simula tayo with volume flow rate. Imagine a section. Imagine na may butas sa isang plane. And then may nag-flow na water or may nag-flow na fluid here. And then pumapasok dito. Ngayon, sabi dito may area, di ba? Area multiplied by velocity. Assuming that this is the area ng cross-section where nag-flow yung ating fluid. And then may minultiply siya yung area na to by a velocity. Velocity being meters per second, 'di ba? Or a length per second or length per time value. So since meron tayong area which is sabihin natin meters squared and then multiply natin siya by meter per second, mapapansin mo na we multiplied it by a certain amount of meters. So ayun, edi kung minultiply natin siya, it's actually having a volume. Parang in 1 second, a volume is ejected out of the cross section in a specific amount of meters. So, pag minultiply natin siya, we actually have a meter cube per second value, meaning that there is an X amount of cubic meter that passes through the cross section per second. So, yun yung sa volume flow rate. Ngayon, yung mass flow rate naman natin, which utilizes Q and the density. Now, since established natin that the volumetric flow rate or the volume flow rate has a certain amount of volume that passes through a liquid in a specific amount of seconds, sabihin natin in 1 second, this has a specific volume, di ba? Ngayon, given that we know the density of the fluid, we're actually able to get the um the mass of what of the amount of fluid that passed through the cross section. Gawin ulit natin yung dimensional analysis para mas intindi natin. But we have here the density, di ba? Which is kilogram per cubic meter. It's saying na parang, oh, there's a certain amount of mass per amount of volume sa ating density. Now, since per amount of volume yun, kung gagamitin natin yung volumetric flow rate, which is equal to meter cube per second, we're actually able to get kilograms per second. Now, simplify muna natin pala. Kung minultiply lang natin siya by a specific amount of volume, di ba we get kilogram? Kasi as per definition, the density is basically the amount of mass per unit volume. But in terms of mass flow rate, we get it as per unit time. So yun yung mass flow rate. Ngayon, for weight naman, same concept. We have a volumetric flow rate, but this time yung weight natin or yung ating weight flow rate is multiplied by the specific weight. Specific weight being the amount of force or in Newton or kilonewton per cubic meter. So cancel ito, we get Newton per second or kilonewton per second or any other force value over second. And for this, given na define ko na naman yung each variables. Is that understood, everyone? Formulas pa lang to. Okay. So keeping those formulas in mind, we have the definition of terms naman. So, definition of terms, hindi ko siya masyadong gagawin in detail yung pag-discuss natin kasi I do believe na mas nagiging practical yung application natin ng mga terms in problem solving instead. Excuse me, sorry. So, fluid flow may be steady or unsteady, uniform or non-uniform, continuous, laminar or turbulent, one-dimensional, two-dimensional or three-dimensional, and rotational or irrotational. So, for steady and unsteady flow, we define steady flow uh, as something that occurs when the discharge Q passing a given cross section is constant with time. What does that mean? So again, in the same, actually dito sa ano, gawin nating tube siya. So given this tube, at this point daw, at this cross section, at this opening, it has a specific Q or a specific volume, meter cube per second na nag-emit nag-flow through the opening. When in time daw, it is the same. So parang in 2 seconds it's the same, in 3 seconds it's the same, in an hour it's the same. But for it to be unsteady flow or unsteady, the flow Q at the cross section varies with time. So parang nag-iiba-iba siya per time. Malay nyo, hihina siya sa ano, hihina siya by 5 seconds, hihina siya by this. So yun yung definition ng steady flow. It's basically the same discharge per unit time sa isang opening. Excuse me. Now, moving on to uniform and non-uniform flow naman. Uniform flow occurs if, with steady flow for a given length or reach of a stream, the average velocity of flow is the same at every cross section. This usually occurs when an incompressible fluid flows through a stream with uniform cross section. So sabihin natin ito, uniform cross section ito, di ba? At this point daw, and at this point, and at this point, pare-parehas yung kanilang velocity at uniform flow. Now, kapag at this point mayroong isang specific value ng velocity and meron ditong velocity na iba din and meron ditong ibang velocity, usually dahil incompressible or yung fluid ay either compressible and then um nag-iiba-iba din yung cross section, nagiging non-uniform na din siya. Is that understood? Yung steady and unsteady flow and uniform and non-uniform flow? Isa lang ba? Okay. So yan, moving on to another term, we have continuous flow naman. So continuous flow occurs when at any given time, the discharge Q at every section of the stream is the same. So ibig sabihin at this cross section, at this cross section, and at this cross section, parehas yung Q natin. Q1, Q2, Q3 is equal. It's actually also equal to this opening. It's also equal to this exit at any time. So it is steady and uniform. Or actually steady flow siya. And the continuity equation is defined by since Q1, Q2, Q3, and we define Q as area multiplied by volume, and then since iba-iba siya, it is constant all throughout different points. We have A1V1 is equal to A2V2 and A3V3. Now, for compressible fluids naman, we define compressible as something that can be compressed, di ba? And what happens when we compress something? Di ba kapag kinocompress mo ang isang bagay, binabawasan mo yung volume niya. And kapag nababawasan ang volume ng isang bagay, anong nangyayari? Pag nagbabago yung volume niya and na-maintain yung mass niya, sabihin natin, di ba may density tayo? Kapag ang mass stays the same but the volume decreases, kung ito remains the same, the volume decreases, syempre, tataas yung ating density or nagbabago. Therefore, nag-iiba-iba yung density ng ating fluid at different points. So, ibig sabihin, nagbabago yung ating flow rate. Ang nagiging constant sa compressible fluids ay mass flow rate. Hmm. Constant yung mass flow rate dito and constant yung ating volume flow rate dito. And the mass flow rate, constant dito ang mass flow rate and weight flow rate. Okay. So see, as demonstrated naman dito. Is that understood, everyone, the continuity equation? Okay. Now, diving into more terms before we move on to our problem solving, we actually have laminar flow and turbulent flow. So laminar flow is said to be laminar when the path of individual fluid particles do not cross or intersect with flow. Or intersect, I mean. The flow is always laminar when the Reynolds number is less than 2,100 approximately. So makikita nyo naman dito, very streamlined siya. Hindi siya nag-cross with one another, making it laminar flow. Hindi siya nag-intersect with each other, 'di ba? May sariling path sila. However, for turbulent flow naman, this flow is said to be turbulent when the path of individual particles are irregular and continuously cross each other. Kita niyo naman dito. Turbulent flow normally occurs when the Reynolds number exceeds 2,100, although the most common situation is when it exceeds 4,000 Reynolds number. So, just keep note yung Reynolds number dito. This is for future lessons when we calculate the Reynolds number. But for this discussion, for this lecture today, we won't be diving into that muna. Okay, so moving on for the last of our definition of terms, we have one-dimensional flow, which occurs when in an incompressible fluid, the direction and magnitude of the velocity at all points are identical. So, similar sa ating discussion din kanina with steady flow, though parang may combination of factors siya. Sa two-dimensional flow naman, it is when fluid particles move in planes or parallel planes, and the streamline patterns are identical in each plane. So, para siyang very similar siya with how we discuss here. Parang dito yung one-dimensional per streamline. Two-dimensional naman ay per this flow. Yan, ganun siya. So, ito naman, streamlines, steam tubes, and flow nets. Streamlines are imaginary curves drawn through a fluid to indicate the direction of motion in flow in various sections of flow of the fluid system. So, given a tube where we have imaginary curves or imaginary lines, these are the streamlines to indicate the flow of the fluid system. So each of these are streamlines. Whereas dito naman, stream tubes, these represents elementary portions of flowing fluid bounded by a group of streamlines which contain flow. So yung group na ito, this is actually called a stream tube. Stream tube ito. Flow nets naman are drawn to indicate flow patterns in case of two-dimensional flow or three-dimensional flow. When you look up flow nets, you're going to look at parang patterns that look like this. It's actually a group of stream tubes showing where the fluid flows are. Ayun. So, basically parang streamlines are a group of stream tubes and flow nuts are a group of stream tubes. Is that understood, everyone? Concepts lang naman siya. Ayan. So, we actually have the discussion on energy and head as well. The energy possessed by a flowing fluid consists of kinetic and potential energy. The amount of energy per pound or newton of fluid is called the head. So the head is actually a unit of length. Makikita nyo mamaya what we mean by that. And yung kinetic and potential energy is a unit of, I think, joules per second or joule here. Kasi if you recall correctly, our kinetic energy is 1/2 mass, ano yun? mgh squared pa yun? Mass times volume squared. Yan yung ating kinetic energy. But this time, ang gamit natin ay flow rate. Mass flow rate, and then para makuha yung kinetic energy in terms of weight flow rate, we get weight over gravity. Give me a second pala. Bali, to find the kinetic energy in terms of the weight flow rate, we express it as 1/2 weight over gravity volume squared. Now, the kinetic or velocity head is actually expressed as velocity squared over 2g. And mas gusto ko siyang i-explain as we are using them later in the problem solving. Now, aside from kinetic energy, the total energies that are present in our fluid flow are the elevation energy, which is considered as a potential energy, the energy possessed by the fluid by virtue of its position or elevation with respect to its datum plane. So, assuming na parang ang fluid flow natin ay tumataas or hindi siya uniform yung height nila, may change in height, syempre, as indicated by the general formula for potential energy, which is the uh, this mass times gravity times the height, which is also equal to weight times height, we get the elevation energy is equal to the mass flow rate multiplied by gravity multiplied by the z, which is z being the change in elevation. And the elevation head itself is this, z. For pressure energy naman, we have the weight times the pressure energy over the specific weight. And for the pressure head itself, the pressure head is uh, calculated by the pressure over specific weight. Okay? And actually, typical problems call for total flow energy, E, or E specifically here actually is for total head. But the total energy or TE or ET, ganun, depende lang sa pag-express mo, is equal to the kinetic energy plus the potential energies, which again is kanina 1 half mass flow rate V squared plus ano ulit yun? mgz plus ano yung kanina? Sorry. Plus weight, pressure, specific weight. Yan yung total energy natin. And similarly, the total heads is basically the heads per energy. So dito, yung head nito ng ating kinetic energy, V squared over 2G plus pressure over Y plus Z. So that's a unit of length. Makikita natin later sa problem solving kung paano siya nagagamit. And then for power naman and efficiency is the rate at which work is done. So the power, ito. So the power is calculated by the volumetric flow rate multiplied by the specific weight multiplied by E or the total head. And ang efficiency niya, output and input, given na parang sasabihin ay sa problem, sasabihin it has an input power, and then i-calculate niyo yung output power, you're able to calculate the efficiency there. Ayan. So do you have any questions so far for the formulas before we dive into the problem solving? Is everything understood? Okay. Now let's move on to a problem solving naman. So problem number 1 states that water flows through a 75 millimeter diameter pipe. So ito daw ay 75 millimeter. Find a volume flow rate in meter cube per second and liters per second, the mass flow rate and the weight flow rate in Newton per second. So yon, paano natin hahanapin yon? Una, hanapin muna natin yung given. We have the diameter, 75 millimeters, and it has a velocity daw of, or at this cross section, it has a velocity of 3 meters per second. Hahanapin ngayon natin yung volume flow rate niya, yung mass flow rate, and the weight flow rate. And ano ulit natin, since may given na tayo and we know the unknowns na hahanapin, now we have the formula for Q, which is the area times the velocity. Mass is equal to the density times the volumetric flow rate. And the weight times the weight is equal to the specific weight multiplied by the volume flow rate, which is equal to Q. So, paano natin hahanapin yung area muna? Considering that it is a diameter pipe, it is a circular cross-section. It has a cross-section of 75 millimeters ang diameter. How do we find the area of this? Pi over 4 diameter squared or pi r squared. Given na hatiin mo yung diameter. So, ano yung kalahati ng 75? That is 37.5. Ayan. Given that equation for the area, we have here pi over 4 multiplied by 0.075 squared, which is just 75 millimeters converted to meters. So yun, divided by 1,000 millimeters, di ba? We get 0.075 squared multiplied by 3 meters per second. Solving that, we get a volume flow rate of 0.013 meter cube per second. And since hinahanap din natin yung liters per second, since nahanap na natin yung meters, cubic meter per second, we're now going to be converting it to liters per second. How many liters are there in a cubic meter? So that is 1,000 liters now. So 0.013 meter cube per second multiplied by 1,000 liters over meter cube, cancel. We get 1, 2, 3, 13 liters per second. And since we got the volumetric flow rate na, we're able to get the mass flow rate as well by multiplying the mass flow rate by the density. And ano ulit yung density? It says water, di ba? And we have our standard value for the density of water, which is 1,000 kilograms per meter cube. And considering na nandito yung 1,000, we have our density here multiplied by the volumetric flow rate, which is 0.013. We get 13 kilograms per second. And again, we're trying to find the weight flow naman. We now found the volumetric flow rate, the mass flow rate. We're now looking for the weight flow rate, which is equal to the specific weight multiplied by the volume flow rate. And the specific weight is equal to 9,810 or 9,810 newtons per meter cube or 9.81 kilonewtons per meter cube. But since hinahanap natin ay in newton per second, we're going to be using this one. So it's 9,810 times the volumetric flow rate, which is 0.013 meter cube per second. We get 127 Newton per second. Ayun, so just be careful with kaya kung gustong ipalagay sa inyo yung unit sa solution nyo ay para ma-make sure nyo na hindi nyo ginagamit yung wrong magnitude. Kasi mamaya makikita nyo na parang bakit biglang may variable na ganito hindi ko ma-cancel. Ibig sabihin siguro noon ay may mali sa either process mo or sa ginamit mong magnitude. Kasi magkaibang magnitude na sila, di ba? Ayun. So that's how we solve for the volume flow rate, mass flow rate, and the weight flow rate. Is that understood, everyone? May questions ba tayo? Okay. So very simple pa lang siya actually. Kasi gumamit ka lang ng formulas and then sinolve mo lang yung area. Okay, let's move on to our next problem naman. So, a 100 millimeter diameter plunger is being pushed at 60 millimeters per second or converted is equal to 0.06 meters per second into a tank filled with oil having a specific gravity of 0.82. If the fluid is incompressible, again, kapag incompressible, it means that the discharge at different points is equal. How many Newton per second of oil is being forced out at a 30 millimeter diameter hole? So Newton per second, what is that? That is the weight flow rate, diba? Okay. So, Dahil dyan, let's state our givens first. We have a diameter of 100 millimeters for the first opening, and a volume of 60 millimeters per second, or 0.06 meters per second. And the fluid of the specific gravity of the fluid now, which is oil, is 0.82. And the diameter for the second opening is 30 millimeters. So ibig sabihin, meron tayong volumetric flow rate here and volumetric or discharge here. Okay. So ibig sabihin daw, equal yung discharges dito. So, ang formula natin ay Q1 is equal to Q2, where Q is equal to the area multiplied by the velocity. Ayan. And since the fluid is incompressible, Q1 and Q2 is equal to each other. So since Q1 is equal to the area of the first cross-section multiplied by the velocity of the first cross-section, meron tayong diameter ng first cross-section. We just have to find the area of it, considering that it is circular. So again, pi over 4, 0.1. Saan nanggaling yung 0.1? It is 100 millimeters converted to meters. Ayan. So we have 0.1 squared. That is pi over 4 d squared multiplied by 0.06. Saan nanggaling yung 0.06? It is the conversion of the velocity from millimeter per second to meters per second. So solving for that, we get the first Q1, which is equal to 0.0047 0.00047 meter cube per second, which is Q1. And since it is incompressible and we established that Q1 and Q2 are equal to each other, Q2 is equal to also 0.0047 meter cube per second. And since meron tayong discharge dito and we have a diameter or area, which actually hindi natin kailangan gamitin muna dito sa point na ito. Since meron na tayong Q2, we just have to find the weight, the weight flow rate. Since meron na tayong Q2 and meron tayong Y, which is derived from the specific weight of water multiplied by the specific gravity of the fluid multiplied by Q, we actually get the weight is equal to 3.78 newtons per second. Is that understood, everyone? Okay. So again, it's just using the same formulas with relation to each other naman at different points ito. This is showing the incompressible nature of the fluid as well as the continuity property. Okay? For our last problem for our lecture for today, if the velocity of flow in a 75 millimeter diameter fire hose is 0.5 meters per second, so again, we have a diameter. Sorry, ulitin ko yan. We have a diameter of 75 millimeters and a velocity daw of 0.5 meters per second at a opening of the fire hose. What is the velocity in a 75 diameter jet issuing from a nozzle attached at the end of the pipe? So may pipe daw dito and then may attached na nozzle dito. Yan yung nozzle. And this nozzle has a diameter of 25 millimeters. Ngayon, ang hinahanap natin ay yung power available. Okay, so na-establish na natin yung givens, D1, D1, and D2. Hinahanap na ngayon natin ang power available. Actually, hindi natin ito. Hinahanap na natin yung power available. How do we find the power available? It is stated before ay yung volumetric flow rate multiplied by the specific weight multiplied by E, or also expressed as the weight flow rate multiplied by the total head E. Ayan. Anong kulang natin dito? Paano natin mahahanap ang Q? Since it is, since walang nasabi, we assume it to be incompressible. at different points. So Q1 is equal to Q2. Dito natin mahahanap yung ating um, Q value para sa power, which is equal to the area times the velocity. Para natin mahanap yung Y. Y is simply the specific weight of the water. Water kasi fire hose siya eh. But yon, assuming na it's water. And then the total head or the total energy head, which is equal to velocity squared over 2g. Sir, bakit po walang potential energies yan? Wala namang naging change in elevation and walang external pressure na exert. So, since walang elevation, we're just going to have the kinetic energy here. Ayan, so with those equations, we now move on to our solution. By continuity equation, the volumetric discharge at the hose and the volumetric discharge at the jet are equal with each other. Dahil dyan, the area of the opening here multiplied by the velocity, which is 0.5 meters per second, is equal to the area of this 25 millimeter diameter jet multiplied by its velocity, which is yung hinahanap natin at this moment. Kasi kailangan natin yung velocity for the energy head, di ba? Ayan. So we have 4.5 meters per second. Kasi hinanap yung area ng una, area ng pangalawa, and then multiplied by the velocity ng una, and then may velocity tayo dito that we solved for, which is equal to 4.5 meters per second. Now that we have that, we are able to solve now for Q and E. So ang ating Q dito sa point na ito is just A multiplied by V, again, this, which is yung area dito, multiplied by the velocity of the jet. You get 0.002209 meter cube per second. And now you have Q, check na ito. You have Y, you're finding E naman. And E again is velocity squared over 2g, which is may velocity na tayo dito. So velocity, 4.5 squared over 2 times g, the gravitational force. The acceleration due to gravity is 9.81 meters per second squared. Therefore, we get 1.0321 meters. That is our total energy head. With our total energy head, we are now able to complete the variables for the available power formula. P is equal to 0.00209 meter cube per second, which is the volumetric flow rate, multiplied by the specific weight of water, which is 9,810 meter cube, and Newton per meter cube, and 1.0321 meters, which is the total energy head. Multiply them all together, you get 22.37 watts. And watts is a unit of joules per second or Newton per meter per over second. Ayan. So that's how we are able to attain the power available at a specific jet, giving a continuous flow with different areas. Is that understood, everyone? Okay. So that concludes it for our lessons for today. Bale, expect a problem set coming for this week para mas refresh nyo or magamit nyo yung concepts na inaral natin this problem solving, this lesson for today and the lesson from last week, which involves submerged surfaces, hydrostatics of submerged surfaces. So syempre, as I've told you before, when you took your midterm examinations, ginagawa natin yung problem sets for you na mahasa sa problem solving para maintindihan nyo each. So hopefully this time around, maaral nyo talaga thoroughly yung ating problem sets para wala na kayong masyadong problema sa inyong midterm examination. Okay? So, with that, I will be doing your second attendance. Please say present when I call your name. Annie, Annie, Atienza,
Present po.
Azoge,
Present po.
Bakuyag,
Present po.
Barte,
Present po.
Bernardo,
Present po.
Beron, Betis,
Present po.
Camacho,
Present po.
Cueto,
Present po.
Juliet,
Present po.
De Guzman,
Present po.
Del Mundo, Del Mundo, Dilay,
Present po.
Di Mailig, ay nasa previous class kanina, tama. Domingo,
Present po.
Eloriaga,
Present po.
Engay,
Present po.
Espeleta,
Present po.
Fajardo.
Present po.
Yes, noted, Mr. Delmendo. Flandes,
Present po.
Herona,
Present po.
Heronaga, Heronaga, Hernandez,
Present po, sir.
Makatangay,
Present po.
Magmanlak,
Present po.
Malinaw, Manahan, Mendoza,
Present po.
Pagkaliwagan,
Present po, sir.
Parente, Parente, Perez,
Present po.
Ucamas,
Present po.
Porcelo,
Present po.
Pulhin, Pulhin, Ramos,
Present po, sir.
Rhea,
Present po.
Umalike,
Present po.
Umalivi,
Present po.
and Ilagan.
Present po.
Okay. So that concludes it for our lecture for today. Thank you for attending today's class. I'll see you next week. Please expect a problem set to be posted this week for your fluid mechanics. Okay. So you may now leave the meet. Thank you.
Thank you po, sir.